Alright, here we are with the IGL draft analysis. We are Pure Instinct. That's our logo right there. And basically, I'm just gonna go through every pick that I picked. And yeah, so this is like a new league. I filled in last season for I was like a replacement coach, but it was in like minors best of three, which I didn't really like best of three. So I applied for masters best of one, and I did get in, so that's good. And yeah, the point system is very interesting because it's their first time doing points. Last season they did tiers for every format, I guess, that they had. But this season they're doing a point system for everyone, which I think is better as long as you make everyone draft 11 mons so that no one can draft like an overpowered 9 mon team. Um, but yeah, also another thing with this is that there are cut moves allowed. So basically just hidden power and pursuit, which does factor into some things. I was like, why is Gliscor and Heatran 15 points? Well, Heatran okay, but like Gliscor is 15 points. I'm like, why? Because HP Ice is gonna probably be on everything if you draft that mod. So uh, I think I was 13th out of 16 in the draft order, so kind of close to the wheel. I was I was confident that I'd get my first pick because it was only 15 points. I didn't get anything more than 15 points. So with that being said, let's go right into the draft. First mine I picked up was Deancey, Mega Deancey. Base 110 speed, really fast. Also has base 160 attack and special attack. Now I'm assuming this thing is in 15 points because hidden power steal is a thing. But I don't really see that as a huge problem, especially. I mean, this mon is usually either 17 or 18 points, so getting it at 15 is such a steal. And I think I sniped someone who's like about to pick this mon, so that's really good that we were able to pick up this mon. Rock Fairy. Also, after Crown Tundra, it gets Mystical Fire and Play Rough. Play Rough is huge for it because now it can run Diamond Storm and Play Rough, or it can run Moonblast and Power Gem, and you're not really going to know if it's physical or special until it actually uses a move, which could be huge for me. Also, fast rocks. I can go for stealth rocks. Is great. Mystical Fire is nice for a few niche mons like Corviknight, Celesteela, Ferrothorn, things like that. Um, and it also has Magic Bounce, which is great. So I'm not going to get statused. I can bounce back other hazards. So that's kind of like a hazard deterrent, I guess. And yeah, some cool setup options like Rock Polish. If I just run Rock Polish, I literally do not need to invest any speed to outspeed everything else. Once I get to a +2, and I can also run Calm Mind, which could be really nice. Earth Power is great for most steel types, and poison types, I guess, if I can't hit poison types too hard. So yeah, I think this is going to be a great primary, just offensive monster. I mean, I used it in a speed tour, and I really liked it. So, second pick, I picked up Weavile. I wanted Weavile because I just wanted something to pair with Mega Diancie. I didn't really find anything else. Originally, I wanted Gliscor, but then I'm like, oh wait, Hidden Power Ice is a thing? So no, I'm not going to get Gliscor. Even at 15 points, I didn't feel like that was worth it. And plus, I didn't want to start the draft with 2 water weaknesses. So yeah, Weavile is pretty good. It's got a nice speed stat, 125, and a nice attack stat, 120. It's also only 14 points, which I think is pretty good. It gets triple axle, which is awesome. I can run triple axle and kind of destroy things. Does get setup option with the Swords Dance. Granted, that's likely not going to come that much. But, I mean, this mod is pretty one-dimensional. It's got Ice Shard, triple axle knockoff, and probably low kick is your last move. Like, that's pretty standard. But I think it works well with Diancie because it's not going to be the primary offensive weapon. I mean, Diancie is going to be the primary offensive weapon. But then when I have Weavile there, teams are gonna have to prep for that too, and it might become a real problem for them if they're trying to deal with both of them. So I think this offensive core, especially with the speed tiers I already have, 125 and 110 is pretty good, and just the power between both of them is pretty good. There's very few typings that can really beat these two, except for I guess bulky waters could be an issue. But yeah, next up I picked up Skarmory. I'm really comfortable with Skarmory. I've used it in the past a bunch, and I actually like it more than Corviknight because it can set up hazards, which is great, Stealth Rocks and Spikes. It can Whirlwind, which I'm pretty sure Corviknight can, but I'm not sure on that. It doesn't get U-turn like Corviknight does, but I have a higher defense stat, and that's gonna and it does get Body Press. Skarmory does, so I really like maybe a max defense body press kind of thing could be really good. And it's just like on the physical side, it's just gonna take more hits, which I really wanted to have with my steel flying type here. So Celestial was still on the board for quite some time. Um, but again, I really wanted something that could hazard stack. Also, a defog. I don't think Celestial gets defog. So, um, but I mean Corviknight does. But yeah, basically I didn't really want um, Corviknight. I wanted Skarmory, especially because it's only 12 points. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna pick that up. Um, so yeah, I'm probably gonna be using Skarmory a lot this season. That Skarmory or my fifth pick will often come. So yeah, that's Skarmory. Next up, we have Rotom Heat. Rotom Heat's good. I mean, I don't really think I've ever really used it in that league, but every time I'm against it, it's just a problem. I mean, it could go offensive or defensive. It's got support moves like Trick. Like tricking a Scarf is so good right now. Will-O-Wisp is nice. I could like Will-O-Wisp Hex kind of thing. I could Pain Split because Rotom Heat's HP stat is so low. Pain Split is gonna be great to use against a lot of mons. Like if I'm at like 10%, I Pain Split. I'm gonna get so much health back from like a full health mon. And yeah, just having fire electric coverage is really nice. I have levitate, so I don't get hit by ground type moves, which would otherwise destroy me, which is great. And yeah, I think Rotom Heat's gonna be a decent pivot, and I've always wanted to use it. I just think it's really solid. You can't really go wrong with it. Obviously, unless you prep or play bad with it. But as far as a draft goes, I think it's a really solid mon to pick up. I think this is also 12 points. So next up, I got the 12-point Hippowdon. I basically picked this mon up because I thought it was a steal in 12 points. I'm like, why is this mon in 12 points? Or in the 12-point tier. Uh, it's got incredible bulk on the physical side. I already have Skarmory, I know that, but I think Hippowdon does a few different things. It can also Whirlwind. Now, Skarmory and Hippowdon, to be fair, are very alike in what they do. They can set up hazards, they can heal off damage, they can Whirlwind, they can phase you. But Hippowdon's got a little bit better coverage. It gets Ice Fang, it gets Crunch, obviously Earthquake, and it's more powerful than Skarmory. So if I want a mon to, and it's all about typing, right? If my opponent has like a Zero Aura, well, obviously I'm not gonna bring Skarmory to wall up. I'm gonna bring Hippowdon. Now Zero Aura also gets Grass Knot, so I guess that's a bad example. But basically, I wanted to ground type so that I could deal with electric types pretty well, and also fire types. Not that Rotom Heat does poorly against either of those. It's actually pretty good against fire and electric types because it resists both of them. But yeah, I thought it was a steal in this tier, and I mean I don't have a sand team, but I think it was worth it. I was thinking about maybe picking up Donphan, but Donphan doesn't get reliable recovery, and this mon does, so that could be really good. Next up is Snorlax. I drafted Snorlax because Snorlax was in 10 points. This was basically the draft of steals. I picked up Snorlax at 10 points when it's usually at like 12 or 13. I would not be surprised if a league had Snorlax at 13 points, but massive HP stat, really good special defense stat. Like if I run this thing AV and like max HP, max attack adamant, it's such a threat because it's got so many good coverage moves. I could also run Curse, Rest Talk, or just Curse, Rest, Body Slam, and Darkest Lariat and just destroy teams. That's always going to be a problem as long as you don't bring your fighting type against me, which most fighting types do kind of get walled by Skarmory or Hippowdon, so that's good. And they got kind of destroyed by DNC, so yeah, just a great overall. I mean, I did want something that could take special hits a little bit better, and Snorlax does fit that role pretty well. So that's the main reason I got Snorlax, and also how it's absolute steal at 10 points in my opinion. It should be at least 12 points in every league. But I mean, you got to cut them some slack. This is their first time doing point system, so I guess they were just trying to experiment with it. But yeah, I mean, great coverage moves, so I could definitely run an Assault Vest set in there somewhere. And yeah, so next up we have the Silvally. Silvally's great. I believe this one was 13 points, which is a little bit more appropriate because I can run any type on this mon. This was actually like one of the last mons I was like, okay, let me get this mon because I didn't really look at it, but I had like basically every other typing that I needed, so I'm like, alright, let me just put Silvally on the team. It's another defogger. It can really, if I make it a type, I can just tailor it to just beat one or two mons on my opponent's team that I know are coming, and I can just deal with them that way. I can also try to set up with like Swords Dance and Swords Dance Flame Charge kind of thing. Multi-attack, 120 base attack or base power with no drawback is huge. Of course, if I run it any type, I'd have to put the plate on it, or the memory card or whatever it is, which is fine. But if I run it normal, I can have an item. This mon also really common on this mon is going to be Parting Shot, which is great for grabbing initiative. And you know, if my opponent switches, I Parting Shot, get DNC right in there, and just get a free attack off would be great. Because DNC is definitely going to be a great wall breaker, or Weavile at that, depending on the matchup. So yeah, I really want to use Silvally well, and I don't think I've used it well in the past. I think I was in like one league and I didn't do well with it, but that was a while ago. So I'm hoping to bring Silvally back and do some work with it. Next up, we got Empoleon. Now, I originally drafted Jellicent and then switched it during the grace period. I wanted Empoleon because there weren't really any good bulky waters left. I really wanted Slowking. I didn't get that. I couldn't get Vaporeon. I didn't really want Alomomola because it's so damn passive, unless you run like Liquidation. But even then, it's like, ugh, it's so annoyingly passive. There was Politoed, but I'm not going to pick up Politoed if I'm not running a Rain team. And Empoleon was there. I know it's another Steel type, so it just makes me really fighting weak at this point. But Empoleon, for what it's worth, is pretty good. It's another Stealth Rocker or Defogger. I wanted something a little bit more specially bulky than physically bulky, because again, I have Hippowdon and Skarmory, so I'd like something to run a little bit more specially bulky. Maybe if Snorlax has a bad matchup, I can bring this mon, which doesn't really make much sense because they're both weak to fighting, but nevertheless, I think Empoleon could do work with us, or work for us. It's just kind of there. I mean, it's not a mon that I necessarily wanted, but I think in the right situation it could do work. It does get Swords Dance, so that could be fun. Swords Dance, Aqua Jet kind of thing, with Defiant. That'll be fun. But yeah, hopefully I can wall some special mons and kind of deal with those accordingly. Yeah, not much else to say about this mon. I wanted a bulky water. So next up is Mienshao. I originally wanted, what did I draft? I think I drafted Virizion, but then someone gave up Mienshao because I wanted Mienshao, but I got sniped. Someone gave up Mienshao, so I switched out during the grace period, this was one of the mons I did, and then there's one more. I did 3, Empoleon, Mienshao, and then my last mon I switched out. So yeah, Mienshao it's great. 105 speed tier. I was kind of lacking somewhere in that range. And it gets Regenerator, which is cool, so I know it's not the bulkiest thing in the world, but if I run Life Orb and hit a few times and then U-turn out, I'm right back up to full, which is great. You know, could also run like a Banded Reckless set to Reckless does actually boost high jump kick, which is great. So like that could do a lot of damage if my opponent just has no ghost types. And if they do, I can just knock it off, so this mon gets great coverage. Like Knock Off, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Voice Crack. So Voice Crack, pretty strong move there. But yeah, just a fast kind of momentum grabber if I need to use that. I always like to have at least one fighting type on I always like to have one fighting type on every draft I have. So yeah, next up is Dragalge. Now this was, in my opinion, if it's not Snorlax, this is the best steal. It's at 6 points. Poison Dragon, Adaptability Dracos, going all over everything. I can also stack Toxic Spikes if I wanted. Granted, I didn't pick up a Rapid Spinner, so I might not want to be hazard stacking necessarily, because if my opponent's also hazard stacking, I'll probably want to defog. But yeah, Dragalge is just really, really powerful with that adaptability. Like, it's only got like what, base 99 special attack, but adaptability Dracos, like specs, oh my goodness, it's gonna hit so hard. It's also got a massive special defense stat, like 123 or something, which is crazy. So yeah, this mod, also Flip Turn, slow initiative would be great, or will be great. So, because I'm going to be forcing a lot of switches, I'm assuming, with this mod. So I'll just be able to Flip Turn and then go into something like a Weavile or a Diancie or a Mienshao or something like that, and just kind of do work. So definitely looking forward to using Dragalge here. Last but not least, we have Gourgeist. This is the last mod. I think I had Jellicent, Virizion and Excelgor, and I switched them out for Mienshao and Polion and Gourgeist. I think Gourgeist is great because it's a ghost type. Its Poltergeist is actually surprisingly deals a lot of damage with this mon, even if you don't run offense. It's great. It's a great just like beat down user. It's kind of like Celesteela, but obviously worse. It's like 5 points, which I think is kind of a steal based on this mon's ability to just kind of wall mons with Leech Seed and Will-O-Wisp, and then you can Poltergeist and just do a crap ton, do a bunch of things. So I could definitely see this mon coming to a lot of matchups, more physically bulky than anything. I could also run it offensive if I wanted. I mean, I can definitely do that, but that just probably won't happen as much. For some reason, this mon gets like Fire Blast, which is crazy. But yeah, that's basically that. I guess I can just do this and show you the whole team. That's the draft. Actually, currently, I don't know who I face for week 1, but it should be fun. Brand new league. Hoping to get some wins. It's obviously, when you look at it, you're like, okay, this is not the most offensive thing. Like if I run bulky Skarmory, like defensive Skarmory, defensive Rotom, defensive Hippo, defensive Snorlax, defensive Empoleon, like defensive Silvally, like AV, defensive Dragalge, like it's not like defensive Gorgas. The only 3 like purely offensive mods on this team is gonna be Weavile, Mienshao, and Mega Diancie, and that's it. And even Mega Diancie, it can run like an Iron Defense Body Press set, like that would be crazy. But yeah, there's the only 3 purely offensive. I guess Dragalge in its own right, unless I'm running like a Spadef Assault Vest set, which could happen. But yeah, I mean, it's not the most offensive, but it can be at the same time. I'll just have slower offense. I'll have maybe Banded Snorlax. Maybe I can set up with Silvally. Maybe I'll have Specs Dragalge. Maybe I'll have Specs or Scarf Rotom Heat. You know, it can be offensive. It just looks like more of a defensive draft. With that being said, I did get sniped a lot. Like, this team looks a lot different than my plan, which I'm not complaining about. That happens in a 16-player league, even with like 800 plus Pokemon. But anyway, that's gonna be that. Tell me what you think about this team in the comment section below. If you have any thoughts about how you could improve it, make sure you let me know, and I'll try to see if I can do that. Because I probably will be able to. I think it's like after week 2 I can make transactions, which I'll probably take advantage of, and you guys can definitely help me with that. If you see any glaring weaknesses on this team. I mean, I probably can find a few weaknesses. Like, it is fighting week. If they deal with Gourgeist, or if I don't bring Gourgeist, this team is pretty fighting weak. So that's one thing. But yeah, that's all I can think of right now. But anyway, like I said, I hope you guys enjoy. Leave a like, subscribe, do all that stuff. If you feel like it, I know you probably skip through this video because it's 18 minutes long. I wouldn't sit there for 18 minutes, but anyway, yeah, that's gonna be it for the last time. And I hope you're excited for this league. I am. And yeah, I guess I'll see you at week 1. So thanks for watching.